Mind you, this man sent text messages to somebody that I was dealing with about me and him, and Cardi B just admitted Offset sent an explicit video of her straight to Stefon Diggs on purpose. And it all started because Stefon Diggs allegedly brought the same woman Offset cheated with, to his hotel room at the Super Bowl. Now, Offset is sitting back saying this.
All of my hoes to my hoes, that's the show. All of my hoes to my hoes, and they know.
And what he just said about Cardi has the entire internet convinced she is going back. Let's get into it. The footage. Alright, so let me just set the scene for you real quick because what is happening right now between Cardi B, Offset, and Stefon Diggs is honestly one of the messiest, most dramatic, and most jaw-dropping celebrity love triangles we have seen in years. Because what we are dealing with involves alleged intimate footage being sent as a form of harassment, threats of physical violence, claims of emotional manipulation, and an NFL wide receiver who apparently thought he could juggle more women than he juggles footballs. Now, to understand how we got here, you have to understand where this whole thing started. And that means going all the way back to the very beginning of Cardi B and Offset's relationship. These two started dating back in 2017. They got married that same year in a secret ceremony that nobody even knew about until months later. And at the time, people thought they were the ultimate hip-hop power couple. Cardi was on fire with Bodak Yellow, and Offset was riding high with Migos. Everything looked perfect on the surface, but behind closed doors, things were anything but. Because according to multiple reports and Cardi B's own public statements, Offset was unfaithful to her over 50 times during their marriage. Let me say that number again, over 50 times. And this was not just random speculation from bloggers on the internet. Cardi herself has come out and said that Offset cheated on her repeatedly, including during her pregnancies, which she says caused her enormous emotional distress and even affected the health of her children. She has talked about how the stress from the lies and the gaslighting contributed to low birth weight for one of her babies. That is not just celebrity gossip at that point. That is a woman telling you that her partner's behavior physically harmed her family. Together, Cardi and Offset share 3 children. Their daughter, Culture, was born in 2018. Their son Wave came along in 2021, and their third child was born in September 2024, right in the middle of all the chaos we are about to get into. Cardi filed for divorce the first time back in 2020, but they ended up reconciling. Then she filed again permanently this time in July 2024, citing irreconcilable differences. And that is when the real fireworks started because it was right around October 2024 that the entire internet found out about Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. And the person who broke the news was none other than DJ Academics, who went on a live stream and claimed that Offset had discovered Cardi was being unfaithful with an NFL player while she was 8 months pregnant with their third child. According to Academics, Offset went through Cardi's phone and found messages and evidence that pointed directly to another man. Now, Academics did not name Diggs right away. He hinted at it by referencing a player on his fantasy football team. But fans and reporters quickly figured out he was talking about Stefon Diggs, who was playing for the Houston Texans at the time. And here is where it gets really spicy, because Offset did not just sit on this information quietly. He took it public. During one of Cardi B's Instagram lives, Offset jumped into the comments and wrote that she had been intimate with someone else while carrying his child and that she needed to tell the truth. And what did Cardi B do in response? She went on X, formerly Twitter, and replied with 2 words that shook the internet and did. That was her response. She basically confirmed the whole thing right there in front of millions of people. She framed it as a lick back, meaning revenge for all the times Offset had been unfaithful to her. And honestly, a lot of fans understood where she was coming from, even if they did not agree with the method. But Offset did not take this well, not even a little bit. And this is where we get to the most disturbing part of this entire story. Because, according to Cardi B herself, in a series of explosive revelations that she made on X Spaces in late March 2025, Offset went on what can only be described as a full-scale harassment campaign against her after the breakup. In a live session that she titled War, Cardi accused Offset of doing something that crosses every line imaginable.
This guy, right, is upset because I sent his girlfriend text messages of him begging me, saying he was gonna take away his life.
Let that sink in for a second. She is saying that Offset was sending her threatening messages about taking his own life and hers. But that is not even the part that has the entire internet losing its mind, because what Cardi said next is what changed everything.
Mind you, this man sent text messages to somebody that I was dealing with me and him having.
And then she added in words that paint a picture of just how exhausting this whole ordeal has been for her.
That's the type of shit I've been dealing with for the past 2 months. Every time he knows that I go out of town, he harasses me.
So, let us be crystal clear about what Cardi B is alleging here. She is saying that Offset took private intimate footage of the two of them from during their relationship and sent it directly to Stefon Diggs as a way to sabotage her new relationship, humiliate her, and destroy her self-esteem. That is not just petty ex behavior. Multiple legal experts and commentators have framed this as a form of intimate image abuse, which is illegal in many jurisdictions across the United States. This is the kind of thing that destroys lives, and Cardi was laying it all out for the world to hear. But the allegations did not stop there. Cardi also claimed during that same Spaces session that Offset and his new girlfriend had been leaving explicit and threatening voicemails on her phone. She accused him of working with bloggers to tarnish her image, feeding them stories and narratives to make her look bad in the public eye. And perhaps most chillingly of all, she said that Offset had threatened both to end his own life and to harm her if she did not come back to him. That is the textbook definition of emotional manipulation, and it paints a very dark picture of what was going on behind the scenes. And the evidence kept piling up. In January 2026, a video surfaced involving Offset and internet personality Selena Powell in which Offset was allegedly caught on a FaceTime call making threats against Diggs. The clip made the rounds on every gossip blog and social media platform you can think of. There were also leaked audio recordings where Offset reportedly talked about shooting Diggs in the knee and robbing him. Whether those threats were serious or just the heat of the moment talking, they added another layer of darkness to an already disturbing situation. Cardi B responded dismissively to the Selena Powell video on social media, trying to downplay it, but the damage was done. Now, this was not even the first time intimate content involving Cardi had been leaked or threatened. Way back in 2017, hackers leaked footage of Cardi from her earlier career and content allegedly filmed by Offset. Cardi threatened legal action at the time but publicly brushed it off. And in 2018, the couple posted a simulated intimate video as a joke, which makes the current situation even more complicated because it shows a history of their private life being entangled with their public image. But there is a massive difference between choosing to share something on your own terms and having someone weaponize that content against you without your consent. In December 2024, Cardi herself leaked explicit messages from Offset in which he was begging for intimacy during their divorce proceedings. She put those receipts out there for everyone to see. So, both sides have been playing this game of leaking and exposing, but the footage allegations take it to a completely different and much more dangerous level. The discussions about these allegations spread across every corner of the internet. On Reddit, in subreddits like r/FOMA, users were breaking down every detail of the revenge content claims. One user wrote that Cardi claimed Offset had been sending intimate recordings of them to Diggs and threatening both violence and self-harm. Over on our pop culture chat, the conversation centered on the disturbing threats and how this was part of an alleged pattern. On X, fans were amplifying the claims, with one user stating plainly that Offset does not just harass Cardi, but that he sent around intimate tapes of the two of them. Meanwhile, on Facebook groups and TikTok, people were debating whether the footage actually existed or whether Cardi was exaggerating. Some called it fake, saying that if the footage were real, it would have leaked publicly by now. Others took Cardi's side completely and called for Offset to face legal consequences. And amid all of this chaos, Offset deactivated his social media accounts, posting one final cryptic message before going completely dark. That move was interpreted by many as a sign of guilt or, at the very least, a sign that the pressure was getting to him. He later came back online to shade Cardi and Diggs, but for a while there he was a ghost. As of right now, no confirmed legal action has been taken regarding the footage, but the calls for accountability have been loud and persistent. And the worst part is while all of this was happening, while Offset was allegedly weaponizing their past against her, Cardi was trying to build a new life with Stefon Diggs, a man who, as we are about to find out, had some very serious skeletons in his own closet. Because what Diggs was doing behind Card's back might actually be worse than anything Offset ever did. The man she left Offset for. So Cardi B walked away from a marriage filled with betrayal, manipulation, and alleged intimate content harassment, and she stepped right into the arms of Stefon Diggs. By February 2025, right around Valentine's Day, the two were spotted together in Miami, and the dating rumors went from whispers to screams overnight. By June 2025, they made it Instagram official, posting photos together and looking every bit like the power couple the internet wanted them to be. And then in November 2025, Cardi gave birth to her fourth child, her first with Diggs. And it seemed like maybe, just maybe, Cardi had finally found her happy ending. But if you have been paying attention to Stefon Diggs for any amount of time, you already know that happy endings are not exactly his specialty. Because while Cardi was building a family with this man, Diggs was allegedly out here fathering children with multiple other women at the same time. And I am not talking about one or two situations. Reports indicate that in 2025 alone, Diggs allegedly welcomed 4 children with 4 different women, making Cardi essentially number 5 in the rotation, depending on whose timeline you believe. That is not a relationship. That is a roster. The list of women connected to Diggs reads like a casting call for a reality show nobody asked for. There was Kiana Barber, who was reportedly one of the mothers. There were rumors about Drake's former video model being involved, and then came the name that blew the whole thing wide open, Pri. Now, Pri is not just some random woman. According to multiple reports, Pri was Offset's alleged mistress. Yes, you heard that correctly. The same woman who was reportedly involved with Offset was now allegedly being seen with Diggs. She was spotted with Diggs at NFL practice, and fans immediately started connecting the dots, suggesting that Offset might have orchestrated the whole thing as some kind of revenge setup to sabotage Card's new relationship. And the accusation